And we're on. Yay. Okay. I think my thing is a little crooked here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so like I said, we are working on a Halloween shoe. This is one of those ideas that kind of came to me, and the original idea for it kind of went in a whole different way. And so tonight I'm going to redo this for you, and hopefully it'll look a little bit better height wise. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, so let me just check, make sure that's not somebody letting me know. No. Okay, so I have a shoe and I have already started working on it. This is actually one of my daughter-in-law's shoes, and it's like itty bitty little tiny little feet. This has fabric on the side, so it was beige with the black stripes. Really nice looking shoes. But I did spray it, and the reason I did that ahead of time is because fabric takes a while to dry. So I sprayed it with Lindy Stamp Gang. This is Starburst spray, and the color is Cajun Carnelian Red. Now I only did one coat, and because the background was beige, it's not coming up as a red. It's coming up as more of a brownish, kind of a pinky brown, I guess. But I still like the color because it works in with the fall colors and Halloween colors as well. The other thing that I did, and you can see right in here, let's see if I can get the light just right, you can see it doesn't look quite right, is I put a coat of gesso on the shoe. This was patent leather and it was just a little too shiny. Okay, so that's the first thing that I did. Could it use another coat? Sure. Am I going to? No. I'm not going to do that tonight and bore you with watching me do that. It's already done. Now, I did take the shoelaces off. If you have shoelaces, then it's up to you whether you want to leave them on there or not. This definitely works better with a closed-toed shoe, okay? And whether it has fabric or not doesn't really matter, okay? That's just an extra. So the first thing I'm going to do, if my glue gun is ready, and it is I'm going to glue in a piece of foam. And this is just floral foam. And I'm just going to shove it right in here, just like that. Okay, so let me go ahead and put some glue in there. And I'm not being particular, and I just forgot to tell you something very important. But we'll go over it anyways. Okay, so that's it. Okay, it's just a little tiny piece just shoved in there. Now, if you wanted to cover the back, and I forgot to do it, okay, the inside, which I've already got my piece cut out. This is a piece of Authentique's, what is it called? Moonlit. And the paper itself is called, wow, Ravel. R-A-V-E-L. Okay. If you wanted to put something in there because you don't think that, you think that you're going to see the bottom of the shoe, the easiest way to do that is to just get yourself a piece of copy paper, tear yourself a small section, go ahead and shove your paper in there, okay? And just along the edges, if you can see, just along there, okay? Just do that. Just push in with your fingernail, and that will give you a pattern. If you can see that, okay? I did put a piece in the other one. This was my pattern. All I did was I cut around the edge, and then I cut my paper to fit. And it worked out really well. It's actually really simple, but I don't plan on you being able to see inside the shoe tonight, so I don't need to cover that, okay? But I will anyways, and let me just, it's going to be kind of an easy thing here. And, yep, I'm going to use regular glue. I'm trying to avoid using the glue gun. I burnt myself a few times last week. and not fun. I know you all know that. So you all getting excited for Unicamp, which is like, what, 2 weeks away? Unbelievable. 2 weeks, 3 weeks away? I don't even know. Okay. So I'm not going to do the gold right now on my shoe. That'll be the last thing I do because I know me and spreading paint all over the place. So the first thing we're going to do is work with our flowers. And I am working with the Prima flowers. These are kindled sienna. And I've used these before and I love them. So obviously that's why I'm using them again tonight. And I'm going to take 3 of them. They're so beautiful and they're so big. Alright, let's just put that aside. And then I do want to take one of them, and I think it's going to be this one here. And I'm going to take the bottom 2 petals, the sections of petals right off. Bottom 2? Yeah, bottom 2. Okay. And then I'm going to take my, this way, Viva Decor Pearl Pen, and this is gold. I love this stuff. I've been finding all kinds of new ways to use this. I'm just going to put some on my paper here. And I'm going to use that to just edge my flowers with the gold. I'm not going to cover the whole thing completely, obviously. Just want to get the edges just a little bit. I need more. And I'm not being very careful about it. It's just so you get a little bit of shine. Okay, and I do need more. And I'll be using this throughout on various different things. I am using some petaloo flowers as well, but I won't be adding some gold to those. And this flower is a little mushy, so we're going to mush it right back into place. Okay, that was easy, right? Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to get some wire, and I need to, in order to have the dimension, because I didn't glue them to the foam, I want to put these flowers on wire. Okay, and there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can use a skewer. I have popsicle stick, lollipop stick, whatever you want to call it. Or you can use round nose pliers. But all I'm going to do is about midpoint, put my wire around it and just twist it around so that it goes around twice. Okay? And then just so that I have the 2 pieces hanging together on the bottom. And I'm going to do that 3 times because I have 3 flowers. If I can get the wire out of the bag. I don't know what gauge wire this is. One more time. Okay, so I'm just going to twist it around twice and just so it meets up. That's it. And last one. It actually works better with this than it does with the round nose pliers. And what I'm going to do is shove these, I can find my regular pliers, inside the flower and glue it in place. And I'm going to cut these pieces even because it's easier to work with. Okay. And I do need my pokey tool, but I won't use that one. Just realized that's too big. My pokey tool, Tim Holtz pokey tool. Okay. And I'm just going to find a spot where I can hide some glue. And I'm going to poke all the way through, being very careful not to poke my fingers in the process. And you do want to go in pretty far because you got to get those 2 pieces of wire through that hole. So I hope you can see the hole right there. And I'm going to shove that in there. And then I'm going to add some glue. I said I wasn't going to use the glue gun, didn't I? But I'm going to, just because I need it to go fast. So I've got it just on the round part. I'm going to shove that in there and push it together. Flower on the stem. Now, if you were using this in an arrangement where your wire was going to show, I would go ahead and wrap some of that floral tape around it. But not doing that tonight, so let's just go ahead and do the next one. I'm going kind of in the middle, sort of. I mean, it's not really perfect. And again, as you're poking, just be careful of your fingers. You always want to be mindful of your fingers whenever you use a pokey tool. Okay. I can't see the hole. I know it's there. Okay, let's try that again. There it is. I know why my pieces aren't even. Well, for crying out loud. Maybe I need to get a hole in a different place. I really don't want to spend the entire show trying to put a piece of wire in a flower. Yay. Okay. So again, just on the round part, and the reason that you have the round part is because you need something flat. Otherwise, the wire will just kind of spin in place. You need something flat to glue to. So there's my wire inside, and I'm just going to shove, crinkle my flower around it so it glues. Okay, and one more. Okay. Okay, I poked myself with the flower, not with the pokey tool. It's sad that I don't even know what the official name for that is. Okay, and we're going to put glue. And scrunch it. And I think I'm done with the pokey tool. Okay, now at this point, if you could always add a little bit more gold to your flowers because you can see them a little bit better where it needs more. And then we will move on to the next step. Okay, so my 3 flowers are done. Okay, so the next part is the ribbon. Okay, and this is ribbon from my stash. It's, I guess you call it variegated. I keep my ribbon on cardboard. And I don't know if you can see that. It goes from reds to purples to golds. Okay, so I'm just going to undo a bunch of it. Oh, okay. Let's take the bigger piece because I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to need. Okay, this is wire edged ribbon and it does work better. All right, so I'm just going to make a 3-loop bow. Okay, so that's pretty much even. Yeah. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm just going back and forth. That's all I'm doing. It's, the bottom of it where the ends are not going to show. And that looks about right. So I need my good scissors. And the computer's going into sleep mode. Okay, and I do need another piece of wire. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and add my wire to the middle. And I kind of have a tendency to want to hold the ribbon, fold it in half, and hold it, and then just grab the wire and squeeze as hard as I can. And then with holding my pliers, I twist the ribbon. For me, that's the easiest way to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and just twist this a little bit, just so it's tight. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my ends off. Alright, there's my ribbon. Doesn't look like much right now, but it will once we get it inside the shoe. But you can see all the colors. And you could use, I actually at one point thought about muslin. I thought about burlap. It just depends on the look that you're going for. Okay, so I've just pulled out my ribbon, and I'll be playing with it a little bit more once we start placing everything in. Right now we're just getting everything ready. So flowers are ready. One section of the ribbon is done. And now I actually need only one more, but I think I might add 2 loops. I just want to go ahead and fold this piece, maybe about 3 inches or so, and then fold it back onto itself, and then make my next piece smaller. I hope you can see that. There's a definite difference in height. Okay, and I'm going to cut the end off even. And again, I'm going to take my wire, and I've lost my package. There it is. Okay, and since I only have the one piece left, and once again, I'm going to fold my ribbon over the wire and just grab and hold it. And then go ahead with my pliers and twist it around. I know that there are other ways of doing this. This is just the easiest way for me to do it. Okay. And I do feel like I need another one. So let me see. I have some regular. Do I have some regular? No, I don't. Okay, well, I guess we're only doing the 2. Thought I had another piece of wire in there. So I'm going to put aside my ribbon. Okay. And then the next thing that we want to work on is our spiders. And this one actually came off of the shoe, and I will glue it back on. Okay. And what these are, and this is not the bag they came in, but I think the other bag broke, is spider rings that you get, you know, like in the dollar store. You know, just little kids' toys, and they come with a bag of, I can't even tell you how many was in the bag. I probably still have at least a dozen left, and I have used a ton of them. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut off the part that will go around the finger as close to the spider as I can without cutting its legs off. And I'm going to go ahead and, oof, I've got glue gun stuff all over the place. Going to go ahead and I'm going to use alcohol ink to color it. That actually works better than anything else. You can use gesso, but you'll find yourself putting on 3 coats or so. The other ones that I did, I used some of them. I used alcohol ink, and this one is the Adirondack Pitch Black. Okay, and so I'm just going to go ahead and put some on, and you'll see like that right away. The colors, you just gotta play with it. Some colors take the ink better than others, and it takes like no time to dry because it's alcohol ink. Okay, this one looks brown, and that's probably about dry, so I can go ahead and do the back. You don't have to do the back. I did the back just in case you could see it. Now you're going to do a better job than I did, okay, because you're not having to stay under an hour to do this. All right. So that's the one thing that I did with the alcohol ink. And I actually have 3 of them. Now, this is one here that I did with gesso. I don't know if you can see that right there. The gesso is peeling up. Okay. So the alcohol ink really does work a lot better. It doesn't have to be black. You could use brown. You could use whatever color you want. Okay. The next thing, and where did he go, is my little skeleton. This is a dollar store find. It was actually, I don't even know if you want to call it a banner, but it was a whole bunch of them on a long string of twine. Okay, and they were kind of like hung by their necks. And I've used these on tons of projects. Excuse me, I needed a sip of water. Okay, and actually the candle holder urn has some of these guys on there. Okay, or bits and pieces of these guys on there. So what I want to do, this one's a little bit darker than the other one that I had, that I already have in the shoe. Okay, so it really doesn't need much more aging, but I'm going to show you what I did anyways. Okay, so let me put that aside because we're not quite done with that. And I need a piece of paper to put some gesso on. And I don't need much, like that's probably more than enough right there. Again, you can use black paint. That's totally up to you. Doesn't have to be gesso. If you're looking for a flat 13 Arts black paint or Delusions black paint. And all I did was just brush here and there just to age them a little bit more. You don't have to do the whole thing. You know, do as much or as little as you want. Most of his body is not going to show. It's mostly the top of him. If I'm not mistaken, when I bought these, there were some that were black with silver on them, and that'd be kind of cool too. You wouldn't have to do any of this if you did that. Okay, I mean, that's how much I used. That, you know. All right, let's put that aside. The next thing that I did was I went ahead and used my pearl pen again. And I'm going to put some more on my paper. And all I did again was I just brushed it on here and there just to give them some highlights. I tried to keep it as much as I could on the raised areas. And don't forget to do the back side, because it will show. And the bottoms of his legs, because as soon as he's dry, we're going to take him apart. Okay, that's it. Just so you get a little bit of shimmer off of him. Alright, so I'm going to set him aside to dry and wipe my hands a little bit, because I forgot about one more flower that I wanted to show you, and that's using the, it's actually a pick. This is a Petaloo berry pick, and this one is brown, and I know that Alda has them in reds as well. I saw those. Okay, I'm going to color the leaves, and I'm going to color this part right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take out my applicator. Whoops, wrong thing. Don't use that. That would not work. Okay, and because these leaves, some of the leaves are velvet, doesn't color very well with just paint. Some of them are paper, but look how easy that is. And you can do the back side if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and take out the other one. And again, I mean, the velvet leaves is really cool. These guys have gold on them, and you'll see the gold go through the alcohol ink. And you can color them as much as you want or as little as you want. See how the gold is shining through on this one here? Okay. And I was just trying to stay away from having pretty much any green. I was trying to stay in with neutrals and then the oranges and blacks. Okay, now we're done with that. So now I do want to color the, I guess, calyx. And I just took the bottle right to it. That's all I did. I just dripped the ink on there. Oops, I missed a leaf. Oh, he's coming undone. We'll glue him back on. Okay, I'm just dropping the ink. I'm not squeezing. I'm just letting the bottle do what it does. Okay. And it is going down the stem, and I'm okay with that. Okay. Now, where's the lid? Right there. Now that I have alcohol ink all over my hands, I did want to color the berries a little bit more than just brown. And I'm using the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Big Brush pens. And I have the nougat and I have the manganese violet. Okay, I was just trying to pick up some of the violet. And what I'm going to just, that it's not really going to show a lot, but it just gives different color. It's making the berries a little bit darker. I mean, I'm not putting a lot on here. I'm just touching the tops. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And I did use the combination of both. You could use just the one. And you'll find that if you do this, if you touch the calyx where you've got alcohol ink on it, you'll get some black alcohol ink moving around. That didn't bother me. Now you can really see the purple there. So it's just a little bit, just again, just to darken it up and change it up a little bit. I don't think I need to use the brown on this one because this one is much darker than I think the other one was. But I'll just touch a little bit here and there. And you can't really even tell the color except for right there. It's just kind of giving some highlight to the berries themselves. Okay, so we're just about ready to actually start putting things together. I need to glue my leaf back on. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of it. And try not to touch the hot glue. Okay. Alright, and I did forget to do this flower here, the leftover, because we are going to use that. Once you've got all your components done, this is really easy. It's just a matter of placing everything in the shoe. But this was not, the original project didn't start off the way it went. And I don't know why I ended up going a different direction, but I did. So that's what we're doing tonight. Okay, let me move this out of the way. So here we go. We have our ribbons right here. We have our 3 flowers right here and the leftovers. Our spiders, our guy, and our berries. And our berries, I am going to pull them so that they're taller. That was one of the things that I did on the other one when I changed my mind about what I was originally doing. I had already cut my stem, and instead of adding to it, I left it. And I find it a little short. Okay. Alright. So, first things first. I have one more flower to use, and that is the Petaloo Textured Elements. I love these burlap flowers. They're one of my favorites. Let me take off the plastic so you can see it better. I wanted a little bit of a natural color in there. This one is called Burlap Blossoms Natural. Okay. we're going to go ahead and we're going to start gluing. And I am going to move my piece here. And I do need to cut the legs off. And I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz scissors and move that arm out of the way. And it does cut right through. And there goes my computer again on sleep mode. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to place my ribbon, and I do want it right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the wires. Keep moving my... I want it kind of on the side, and I'm just going to go ahead and push it in. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to build around that. Now, I probably should put a little dollop of glue just so it'll stay in place. Okay, I want this flower right about here, roughly right about there. Let me see here. Where's my big flower? That one's going to go. Is that the one? No, I want this one here. So I'm going to cut the ends of the wires again. And I want that one to overlap onto the shoe. Kind of like this. We're going to fluff the ribbon out after. Okay? And then underneath of that is where I'm going to put the burlap flower. Okay. Sorry, you gotta take another sip of water. It's a little dry in this room, so I am gonna push that back a little bit. And that's a wonderful thing about the wire is you can bend it. And now I do want the big one more towards the back like that, so I'm gonna cut it as well. I'm just eyeballing, to be honest with you. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and once again, I'm going to go ahead and add a little dollop of glue just so the wires don't move. Okay. And then before I put my last little flower in there, I am going to glue my guy in here. And I'm going to bend his arms, and that's exactly what happened on the last one. Some of them tend to bend a little bit easier than others. But my other guy doesn't have one arm too, so that's okay. I want to glue him about like that. So I put glue on his backbone and his pelvis area. And I am literally gluing him, whoops, to the ribbon. I'm not squishing him on there. I'm just gluing him on there. Just touching. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Now I want to add my small berry pick, and I want that about right there. So I need to cut some of that off. I love my pliers. Do you all have favorite tools like that that you know you can't never live without? I mean, I'm sure we all have a lot of favorite tools. I need to cut this more. But my pliers, oh my God. And nobody gets to play with my pliers but me. I just want to glue that on top of the burlap, but behind this flower right here. Okay, so I kind of need to bend that back a little bit. And I did say I wasn't going to use the glue gun, right? I actually have the Fabri-Tac out. But I'm not using it. Okay, one more flower to put right here. This one's actually a little bit smaller. I think I might have left another piece on that one. That's okay. Oh, too big. And this is where I usually get myself in trouble and I end up cutting too much off. Okay, so again, I'm going to put a dollop of glue in there. All right. And then my double ribbon loop is going to go right in here. And then we'll do the back side. We are almost done, guys. This is probably the fastest show. I need to turn it. Ever. Okay, so yeah, that's much better. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put some glue in the middle of the leftover, the 2 leaves. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just basically just mush it together into another bud. Now, I could have used another of the big flowers because I do have one left in the package, but I didn't want another big flower. Okay, so just mushing this together actually works out really well. Just be careful when you do this so you don't burn yourself. Okay, we will get to this, and we have the feathers to do too. All right, so now I have the legs left over, and I want to glue the legs underneath and hanging down, and I need to cut some of the top of the leg off. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on there, and this is probably, okay, that's dripping. This is going to be mostly glued onto the shoe. And this one here will get cut a little smaller because that one needs to be tucked. I'm just going to hold that in place here. This one needs to be tucked underneath the pick. Yeah. A little bit more. And then some glue. Just to hold it in place. If you're going to make this and you're going to store it from year to year, I would recommend not using hot glue. I just find that, you know, Fabri-Tac or the, what's the other one, the other beacon one? I forget. Anyways, I just find those hold out longer. All right, so now our little bud is going to go underneath, now that I put his legs in, underneath the edge of, underneath his legs and just under the edge of that petaloo flower, the burlap flower. Okay, so I'm going to turn this and try not to burn myself all at the same time. Just like that. And this bud is bigger because I do think the other one only had the 1 layer. Okay, so there's his legs, there's his body. Okay. All right, this is the bigger of the picks, and that's going to go in behind. But I also have the feathers, and I almost forgot about the feathers. I've had these in my stash for a while. And they're, I think they're from Michael's. This one has more reds and coppers and purples, and depending on the light, you can see green in it. And this one is obviously more golds. And I kind of wanted a combination of both. So all I've done was just pull a couple of the gold feathers out. And I think what I'm going to do is, wow, I just lost my train of thought. That's horrible. I need to find the rest of my wire, which was in my drawer. Oh, there it is. Okay. And I'm actually using more of the reds because this is the center part. There was quite a bit more on there. Okay, so I'm using more than I have in here because I also have all these long pieces, whoops, in there. So I'm just going to place my feathers around. And I don't mind it has more. It's actually going to fill out the back of the shoe a little bit better. I think I need another gold one. Just so that I have one on the back side. Okay, and this is just a really thin floral wire. And it doesn't even say, oh, it's 26 gauge, this one. And I'm going to cut myself a piece with my scissors. I'll move that out of the way. Okay. And I'm just going to wrap my wire around, holding down the feathers that I just put on. And since I cut a big piece, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the whole thing around. Oh, don't cut yet. This is where I made the mistake the last time. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, and I'm just going to play with placement since nothing is glued yet. Okay. And now I need to figure out exactly how tall I need my pick to be. The last of the picks. A little bit more. Now it's time to play with your berries and your leaves and your ribbon. And just move it around to whatever you think looks pretty. Okay, this is where we're at right now. And I'm not going to try and get the glue gun in there. Hope you can see that. Can you see that well? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on my spiders. I'm not going to use the one that's green. This is the one that we just did with the alcohol ink. And see, you can see this is the one that's got the gesso. Well, I can anyways. I can see the green color through it. Alright, so I'm going to put the shiny one on top of this flower, and I'm just going to put a little tiny dollop of glue just in the back of it. And just kiss it to the flower. And then, of course, you know, you've got all the spider webs from the glue, which actually is kind of appropriate, so don't really even have to take those off. And I'm going to glue one right along the bottom, like he's climbing up the shoe. And I know he's dark, so you really can't see him very well, but we could always highlight him with the pearl pen. And I do have one more, and I do want to place him on the back flower, like he's coming the other way to get my skeleton. Okay, so there's my extras. Can you see that? So now, the only thing we have left to do is to go back to the pearl pen. And I saved this for last for the simple reason that I knew I was going to make a mess. And in the case of my shoe, you can see that there's holes. And that's all I did was I dropped a dollop of the gold pen, and of course you could use whatever color you want. You could keep it black. You could go with orange. Okay, I'm not going to go where the spider is, and I'm going to try not to make a mess here. I'm going to do just the bottom, just so you can see that, what it looks like, because that's the part you're really going to see. But I did do it around the entire shoe, wherever the fabric met the leather. It's not real leather shoe. Okay, so I'll show you. Oh, my computer again. Come on. I guess I am going to do it. Started. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. So there you have it, and I already messed one up. There you have it, guys. A cute little Halloween decoration. If you wanted to, one of the things I thought about after the fact is the battery-operated candles that look like tapers. I've seen those at the dollar store. You could put one of those in here. I think they all come in white, but I would definitely paint it with black gesso and put it, you could put it like right in here on the side. Or just move your picks around so that you can have a little space to put it. But that's it, guys. Cute little Halloween decoration. What do you think? I hope you like it. I think that was a fun project to do. Let me leave it here for you to see. I had a lot of fun doing it. I have one more Halloween project for you for next time. That's in a couple 3 weeks, I forget. Coming up. So yeah, Halloween is one of my favorite home decor holidays. So yeah. So anyways, that's all I have for now. So let me go ahead and turn the camera back up and try not to make you crazy while I'm turning this around, and so that you can see me. Can you see me? You can see me. Yay. Okay, so thank you again, guys, for coming out to the show. 49 minutes. Wow, I'm surprised. If we'd have waited for the gesso to dry and the spray again to dry, it would have taken a lot longer. I would have had to dry with the heat gun. But so that's it, guys. Don't forget the items that I've used that Alda has in the store. You can go to the store, use Stream Specials tab. You'll get 10% off on those items. And also next week's song will be here at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. That's Eastern time. So unless anybody has anything, that's it. I'm done. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you coming out. Have a great week, and I can't wait to see you at Unicamp. I'm so looking forward to that. Bye, guys. Good night.